guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be cooking soup, and it's Jamaican soup. So I am going to show you the ingredients that I'll be using. Right, it was new to me at first also when my husband introduced the kind of meat he used to make his soup Jamaican way, but I am going to tell you that he used pork neck. The first time he told me that, I was like, pork what? Put in what soup? Yes, that's what he used, pork neck, to cook his soup. But over the years, since I've been living with him, I get to, gravitate to this idea of meat in my soup. So I will be using pork neck in my soup. I know you all might be alarmed or surprised and wondering what kind of soup is that. I was saying the same at first until I get used to cooking it in my soup. So this is the pork neck. I already started using it already. So this is the pork neck. So this is what I'm using. So I'm going to show you the ingredients. I'll be using pumpkin. I'll be using chocho. I'll be using garlic. I'll be using cocoa. And I'll be using potato. Also, I'll be using the noodles at the end of the soup. So let me show you what the ingredients so you can have a visual idea what I'm using in the soup. So guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you enjoy this video. So these are the ingredients. So the chocho, this is the chocho. This is the chocho being whole. I remember I cooked my oxtail and I use a piece of chocho. So this is how it looks when it's not cut in half. So this is the chocho, or the chayota or chayote. I don't know what you call it. And this is the potato. This is the cocoa. I don't know, this is cocoa. This is not dashi. This is cocoa. And this is sweet potato. And this is the pumpkin. So the pumpkin adds the color and it adds the thickness to the soup. So let's get into it. And this is the garlic. So I'm going to be washing the meat. And I'm going to add the meat to the pot because the pot is already on the stove. The water is on the stove already. So I don't use a whole lot of meat. I use 4 pieces. So this soup now mostly cook in my household. When I was a child in my grandma's household, we used to cook this every Saturday. So just like how we have rice and peas as the traditional Sunday dinner, the soup would be our traditional Saturday evening dinner. So as I tell you before, we don't know nothing about this pork neck, but what we used to use, what I grew up on, I grew up on beef soup, chicken foot soup, or pea soup. That's what we grew up on. But as I tell you, I was introduced by my husband pork neck. It's not bad. So this is smoked pork neck. It gives the soup a good flavor because it's smoked. So I'm not going to use the entire chocho. I'm just using, because this is a big chocho. But this now you have to be careful. When you peel it, make sure after you finish you wash your hands properly, because it can scratch the skin, cause the skin to itch if you don't wash off the residue of your hands properly. So what I do sometimes, I would put my hand in a bag, or I put on a gloves, because you know sometimes you think you wash your hands properly and then when you touch your skin you find your body itching. So just be mindful when you doing this part, you make sure you wash your hands thoroughly when you are through. So you peel the skin off the pumpkin. Some people don't really peel the entire skin off the pumpkin, but I do. So it's optional if you want to keep the skin on the pumpkin, like small pieces of the skin. Because most times they say more vegetables and stuff like that, the skin is most time is the important part of it, because it have all the nutrients in the skin. So sometimes some people leave the skin, some people leave the skin on it. I forgot to take out the carrot, but carrot is included. So as you can see, I finished cutting the vegetables. So this is how it looks when it's all cut up. So you notice I have two bowls of vegetable. I have one small cuts in small cuts, and I have this not so small cuts. So this one is going to be at I'm going to add this to the pot at the last 10 minutes of cooking of the soup. So this one must be cooked out with the meat until it becomes soft and mushy. So this is what going to give the soup the thickness, the thick consistency, and the color. Right? So as you can see, the meat is already in the pot cooking with the garlic. And so I'm going to add the vegetable to the pot now. So you notice how the color has changed. The vegetable is cooked. The meat is soft to the touch. So now I'm going to add the rest of the vegetable in the pot. And also I've made my dough, which these are going to be dumplings in the pot also. So you don't have to make your dumplings big, always small and neat. So I'm going to add the food to the rest of the food to the pot. So I finished adding the food to the pot. And I'm also going to add the scallion and the thyme. They're already washed already. And I'm going to leave the pot to cook for about 10 minutes. And then I add the noodle to the pot. Alright, so I'm going to cover and I'm going to leave it to cook. So I am going to add the noodle. Oh, so this is the noodle I'll be using. So I'm adding the noodles to the pot. If you notice, I have not added any salt as yet. I have to add the noodle first because the noodle is a bit salty. So when you add the noodle, you taste the pot and then you decide the amount of salt you want to use. So after I add the noodle, I'm going to close the pot, leave it for 5 minutes, and then when I come back, the soup should be ready. So the soup is completely finished cooking, and this is how it looks after it's finished. So I'm going to be removing all of these because these are for flavors, and this soup is really flavorful. It is so flavorful. It is really friendly to the palate. So most time when you're cooking this soup, if I was back home, like back in Jamaica, you would add like maybe a young breadfruit to it, or yellow yam, also yellow yam, and you know, that would complete the authenticity. And as I tell you before, you can use chicken foot, beef soup. You can use beef to make your soup, or for me to get this consistency. So you see, I've made the first set of vegetable cook with the meat, so it can get the color of the pumpkin, and it can also get a good consistency with the other vegetables. And what I did when it's properly cooked, I used the spoon and I mashed the pumpkin so the color can be enhanced. Also I've mentioned that I put the salt at the end of the cooking after I put the noodle in, so I can determine the amount of salt I need to add to the soup. This is very nutritious to the body. This is something that is good for the body, it's nourishing. And also you can have the option, you don't have to add no extra food. You don't have to add no extra food to the pot. You can just cook the vegetable, and when it's softly cooked, you add your noodles, and you add your salt, you add your scallion, and you add your thyme, and then that's it. You don't have to add no extra food to the pot. But because when you're serving for a family, you have to add extra because you know you want everybody to be filled. Alright, so, and as I said to you before, I would have used breadfruit and yellow yam, but I don't have any yellow yam or breadfruit to complete it. So this is the finishing touch. So this is the soup. This is how it's look with the food and everything. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. So this is how I cook my soup. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It is just vegetable soup. It's like vegetable, but only thing we had meat to it. And it's optional if you want to add all of the food or the meat. It's optional. So that's how we cook. Alright, so guys, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule for watching my video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you have not subscribed as yet. See you in my next video. Bye.